and welcome to AFTV. I've got James B with me off the back of a 2-0 win against West Ham at home. Now, I'm very happy. I didn't expect to be here at this stage of the season, midway through December, sitting in fourth position. But it's good from Arsenal. How are you feeling, James, off the back of this win?
Look, I'm delighted with the individual performances. Firstly, thought every man stepped up today. I thought they were brilliant. I'm really happy with Arteta and the intent that the team went out with today to be on the ball, to press, to move it with pace, to put on a bit of a show for everyone at the Emirates. I thought that was great. I thought the resilience was good, and we scored two really good goals. Two goals that aren't just about coaching; they're about players showing their quality, their instinctiveness, showing some freedom.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It's one of those, we got a lot of heat on the watch along. I think people remember that, we are watching the game at every moment as it's happening. But sometimes you then finish, you put it down, you look back and you go, actually, that was probably better. That was definitely better than I gave it credit for at the time. And I think Arsenal, I don't think they made a statement today. I don't think we said to the Premier League, look, we're we're in a top four race and we are one of the favourites for it. I don't think it was that kind of performance or win. But I think it was just a very good, entertaining night of football at the Emirates Stadium. And we don't say that very often. So, yeah, of course I'm happy.
Yeah, no, James, I think you're being a bit harsh on yourself there when you say about now letting it settle and rest and looking back at the watch long that you were over analyzing. But I don't think you were. I think at times we've seen Arsenal go 1-0 up and sit back. I think in patches in this game we saw elements of that as well, especially when West Ham went to 10 men. There was moments where we sat back, but overall it was a good win. But definitely
It was
there was moments.
controlled.
Yeah, there was moments that we had
Yeah.
to analyze, and I think you did that right. I want to ask you: were you surprised at West Ham not really putting too much of pressure, too much pressure on Arsenal? It's quite surprising. Like, were you surprised with how little they showed in intent? And also, I want to off the back of that as well, the talk of Aubameyang and him losing his captaincy. Were you surprised it didn't affect the boys as well?
Said in full time to Turkish that the third big decision around Aubameyang, one for the North London derby, one for Southampton not to play him, and then one to strip him of the captaincy before this game. And he's had a really good response from all three, in terms of from the players, going into all three games. So it makes me inclined to think that the players are behind Arteta and what he's doing, and behind the decisions. And to strip your captain of to strip Aubameyang of the captaincy that publicly before a game like this, if they didn't agree with it, you'd have seen it in the performance. It looks like a lot of players were auditioning for the captaincy, actually. I thought there were some really good performances there in terms of Lacazette leading the line. I thought Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli were terrific behind. Smith Rowe, when he came on, quiet, but then, wins us the game, and that's crucial.
Yeah.
Midfield, I thought defence as well were just very tidy, dealt with everything brilliantly, dealt with their one-on-one battles, stayed compact when necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we a better side? Are we a better side with Aubameyang out of it? Do you think? It's a big question.
So I've said it. I've actually said it for a long time. Cast your
Oh, you
mind
said
back.
Lacazette. You've been screaming. Actually, no, sorry to cut you there. You
Yeah.
have been screaming.
But cast your mind back to the North London derby in March, and me and you were arguing on the warm up with Robbie about who should be starting up front, Aubameyang or Lacazette, blah blah blah. And I said Lacazette. This is before we knew anything, obviously, of disciplinary. So I've been saying since back then, we are just a better team when Lacazette leads the line. It's no coincidence. We won at Old Trafford. We won at Leicester. We beat Tottenham. We beat Chelsea 3-1 at home with Lacazette leading the line because he links up our players better.
Yeah.
I think he's more of a handful for those up front. Yes, he's probably not as clinical as Aubameyang, but in a team that, we need to be creating the chance. We're not worried about finishing them yet. We're not creating enough of them. And Lacazette is the striker that helps us do that, as evidenced on that first goal with Martinelli. So, yeah, I think we're a better team with Lacazette up front, and I've thought that for a while.
Do you give him an extension, James? Would you give him an extension, or would you say when his time's up, his time is up?
That's a bloody good question.
It's because you've been championing him, and I understand the reasons why, and everything you said there is definitely correct. We are better side with him leading the line, but yeah, is it
I
worth?
probably don't. I probably don't. But at the moment, I'd rather we move Aubameyang on, we keep Lacazette, and we bring another striker in. That would be how I'd want to deal with the situation.
Mm.
But you consider contract lengths, you consider age, you consider history and past and all these things. And really, as Turkish always says, we've got to go and recycle both now. But Lacazette is really playing like someone who he's giving his all to the club. And I thought he was terrific today. I want to say just one thing about
Go on.
again, I've kind of been listening to myself this fan cam, and a little bit of a more somber mood than people. I just want to say, by the way, I've not said this on the streams yet, but I actually do have COVID. I'm at home, recovering from COVID. I'm pretty symptomless, but pretty shattered as well. So that might be part of it. I also want to add that, being in isolation isn't the most ideal thing. But I think my mood watching Arsenal was really, really hit by the Everton result. And I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying other fans should do this. I think I watch Arsenal now with a little bit of like, how do I put it? It's not just support as a fan. I think there's a degree of expectation. Like, I think now I'm watching it like, go on, like, impress me. Come on, then, show me. Because after Everton, I was of the belief, I didn't really say this that publicly, that it was time to move on from the manager. So now, when he's obviously staying, I then need to see a lot to get me back on track. Now, today I saw a lot of good things, and maybe that's why I'm watching it with a degree of, come on then, Arsenal, impress me, show me something,
Yeah.
dazzle me, really. And as a fan, you see me celebrating the goals, you see me enjoying the win or whatever. But I just think there's too many ups and downs still for me. Today
Yeah.
was an up, and we've seen
Yeah.
some really good ups this season. Leicester away, Tottenham, Villa. We've seen some real ups this season. I've just seen too many downs. So this is really good. Go win the next 3, Arsenal, and then let's do something against Man City at home. But let's just go win those next 3, and I'll be feeling really good about the side again. But I will enjoy tonight, and well done.
Yeah, James, and I think I respect you for justifying yourself, but I think people need to understand as well that we look at the game as well we overanalyze it. We're on a watch long where we're talking every minute. We're not trying to just sit there and we can't just switch off. As much as Arsenal never allow me to do that, but people need to remember that we don't just switch off.
We're analysing every throw in. We're
Yeah,
analysing. We're providing a commentary. So you're going to get a comment on every single thing that happens.
yeah,
And not all of it's brilliant, because not everything leads to a goal.
yeah.
Even the best moves can end in a bad shot or a block, and you go, and you're frustrated. But that doesn't mean the move wasn't good. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's just how it is, yeah. And
here's
then
how it
we
is.
have to analyze it and go through it all throughout the week as well. So there's more to it. But anyway, I
But well
appreciate you.
done tonight, Arsenal. Well
Yeah,
done.
big
That
up.
was very good from Arteta. It was very good from the players.
And before we wrap up, James, just give a word on, we're sitting in fourth now. Should we be getting carried away, or should we be very aware? Is it normal to think that, there's other teams with games in hand still to play and still games to play? So we shouldn't get too carried away, or should we just forget it, enjoy it? We're sitting fourth. Some people may not have expected. I don't know if you would expect to be here at this stage of the season. Should we just fully enjoy, or should we understand that this is still very early on in the season?
It's not very early on. We're nearly halfway through now. And we're in the top 4 race. I said one thing on another show, that we were going to learn tonight whether we were basically a 7th to 10th place team, or whether we're a kind of 4th down to 6th.
Yeah,
And I think we've learned tonight that we look much more like a 4th to 6th place team. And listen, that's not something to celebrate, but it's far more encouraging than a lot of people thought it was going to be. So yeah.
yeah, and that is a perfect way to end. Thank you very much, James, and I'll speak to you soon.